credit where credit's due. Looks like Joe Biden's miracle working has already taken effect because the jobs report blows past expectations as payrolls boom by 916,000 in March. How many verbs do you need to put in there in order to try to dissuade people from reading the rest of the article? Yeah, it's not all fucking sunshine and roses, nor is it really that big of a boon for Biden, really. It's more or less a result of more states starting to open up, different industries starting to kick off because it is spring. Yeah, if you take a look at the actual numbers, it's really not that impressive. And also, if you were to just go by the headlines, okay, yeah, so it blows past expectation. It booms up and everything. It's only the highest numbers since August. So, let's just temper your expectations a little bit. Job growth boomed in March at the fastest pace since last summer. Also, yeah, just don't read any farther. You get your bullet points up at the top. Yep, don't bother reading any further. A stronger economic growth, any aggressive vaccination effort contributed to a surge in hospitality and construction jobs. Wait, hold up. Stronger economic growth led to more hospitality jobs. I would say because the economies are now open, that would be why the hospitality industry is experiencing such a surge. And the construction industry, yeah, I think that probably falls along the same lines. But no. No, it's more vaccines, more gooder. Non-farm payrolls increased by 916,000 not dollars. That'll lead into the second story in the second half of the video. And the unemployment rate fell to 6%. Wow, but I thought the last time that Joe Biden was in office with the Obama administration, you could never hit numbers that low because people were just exiting the job market. You know, we can never get back to, you know, those numbers ever again. Economists surveyed by Dow Jones had been looking for an increase of 675,000 and an unemployment rate of 6%. The total was the highest since the 1.58 million added. Wow, that is a far fucking cry. Holy shit, you think you should have led with that. In August of 2020, it shows that the economy is healing. Imagine what you can do when you start lifting restrictions. That those who lost their jobs are coming back into the workforce as the recovery continues and restrictions are lifted. Some hack with Prudential Financial said, the only concern here is if we have another wave of COVID, more fear, more gooder. Stock market futures showed muted reactions to the numbers. Oh, no, but don't worry. The Easter weekend, they won't be back. They won't be back until Monday, and then by Monday you'll forget everything about this. If the projections aren't as good as we hope they are. Employment gains were broad-based, but were especially strong in areas hit worst by the pandemic. Look at how far down we are. A more encompassing measure of unemployment that includes discouraged workers and those holding part-time jobs for economic reasons dropped to 10.7% from 11.1% in February. 0.4%. Yay. I don't want to poo-poo too much on this because it's great. More people are working. Fantastic. But let's not fucking say that, oh, Joe Biden added almost 1 million jobs to the job force. See how great all of his plans are? We should just follow blindly because ice cream man good. There's still nearly 7.9 million fewer Americans counted as employed than in February of 2020 when the labor force was down. While the labor force is down 3.9 million people. Leisure and hospitality, a sector critical to restoring the jobs market to its former strength, you can see why, showed the strongest gains of the month with 280,000 new hires. Bars and restaurants added 176,000, while arts and entertainment and recreation contributed 64,000 jobs. So that accounts for 520,000 jobs in businesses that should experience a growth in the summer. Okay, doesn't take fucking rocket scientists to determine this, or perhaps, think of employing some, because Tesla's, I guess SpaceX has been kicking your ass for a long time. With students heading back to schools, education hiring boomed during this month as well. Local and state private education institutions combined to hire 190,000 more employees for the month. with students heading back into schools because magically you can allow them back in because now Joe Biden's there and he'll take care of you. 190,000. So the only ones that you can really attribute to any sort of economic growth and not the fact that the doors were finally kicked back open. You're down somewhere in the 200,000 jobs area. Construction also saw a healthy gain of 110,000 new jobs, while professional businesses added 66,000 and manufactured increased by 53,000. For construction, it was the strongest month since June of 2020. Right in the middle of the pandemic, right? Transportation and warehouse, other services, social assistance, retail, mining, financial activities were also 5-digit gainers. Terrific. It's great, but don't get bamboozled by the headlines. And Joe Biden's probably, once he's made aware of this on, I don't know when he fucking gets back, he's probably taking Easter Monday off as well. We could look at his schedule, but it's going to be light regardless. He'll be in the fucking Oval Office for 4 hours anyways, so regardless, if he's back on Tuesday, I'm sure he'll get these great numbers and it'll be terrific. Or maybe we should just ask President Harris what she has to think about it. But more people in the workforce is good news, no matter how you slice it. And that just means more people are going to be able to pay taxes because somebody's got to fund those stimulus and that infrastructure bill because those trillions of dollars aren't going to fucking fund themselves. And Joe Biden raising taxes will create energy, not slow the economy. You, sir, are as dumb as you look. That is quite possibly one of the fucking biggest logical leaps you could possibly make. By no discernible measure could you possibly impose more taxes and create energy. What the fuck do you mean by that? President Joe Biden defended his plan Friday to raise taxes significantly to help pay for his proposed now it's 2.5 trillion? Well, it's supposed to balloon up to 4 trillion by, what was that, April? So, no, May. It's April now. But it's supposed to balloon very shortly because, who knows, we'll just fucking print more money. Raising taxes, studies show, will not slow the economy at all. It will make the economy function better and will create more energy. Fuck does that mean? Biden spoke to reporters about his plan at the White House on Friday morning before leaving for the weekend. Oh, of course, yeah. It was 30 minutes of work. President's plan would raise the corporate tax rate, stupidly, and raise taxes on individuals making more than $400,000 a year. You know how much money the president makes, by the way? I'm just going to throw this out there. It's like $360,000 a year, by the way. So I wonder why he picked $400,000. If the Republicans decide that we need it by going, but they're not going to pay for it, it's just going to increase the deficit. So regardless of the health of the country, regardless of working on a bipartisan effort, now we're just going to go ahead and punch it through because green jobs and shit like that. Remember, he's not the architect of the Green New Deal. His plan is so much more different than that, even though hundreds of billions of dollars are going towards climate change programs in that $2.5 trillion infrastructure bill. Only 600 billion, sorry. When you get to numbers that big, they just become unquantifiable numbers of cash. It's just absurd. But yeah, like it says there, if Republicans decide that they're not going to pay for it, well, guess what, pal? 13 states sue Biden administration, demand ability to cut taxes. Yeah, you're going to be left holding the bag, and you're going to be somewhere along the lines of California and Illinois to bankrupting not just states in this case, but the country if you're going to be stupid enough to try to fucking push this through. 13 states sue President Biden's administration over an American Rescue Plan prohibiting states from cutting taxes and accepting coronavirus relief funds. The 13-state coalition argued that the provisions included in the Democrats' $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package preventing states from cutting taxes if they accept relief from federal government is unconstitutional. The coalition, led by Republican West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey, filed the federal lawsuit Wednesday evening in the United States District Court of the Northern District of Alabama. I'd imagine they're a part of this as well, but we'll get into that. Never before has the federal government attempted such a complete takeover of states' finances. We cannot stand for such an overreach, said Attorney General Morrisey. The Constitution envisions co-sovereign states, not a federal government that forces state legislatures to forfeit one of their core constitutional functions in exchange for a large check equal to approximately 25% of their annual respective general budgets. Holy fuck. Dude's laying it down. The lawsuit characterizes the tax provisions as one of the most egregious power grabs in the United States history. It said the federal government is not allowed to force states to relinquish control of their taxing authority under the 10th Amendment. You know, it's a part of that small piece of paper that Democrats like to wipe their ass with called the Constitution. It's still, even in 2021, a fairly significant, some would say a guiding piece of paper for the United States. The provision says states cannot use their relief funds to offset tax revenue by reducing taxes. It specifically prevents states from offsetting tax revenue by cutting rates or by giving rebates, deductions, credits, or otherwise. The vague wording of the provision, buried in more than 200 pages into the rescue plan, creates a chilling effect for states which seek to reduce tax burdens on their citizens, according to the lawsuit. Of course. And you take a look at the states that are a part of this lawsuit: West Virginia, Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Florida, of course, Iowa, Kansas, Montana, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, and Utah are listed as plaintiffs. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Treasury Department Inspector General Richard Delmar are listed as the defendants. Man, I hope so. And I hope more states hop onto this one because it's important. Let's figure out somewhere in the middle. I can't stand him looking. It's creepy. I use nice Dove shampoo and I don't need it aroma tested, even though I'm at least 21 years too old for Biden. States have significant power. We've seen it with the lawsuit when it comes to the crisis at the southern border. When we see it also happen with the other lawsuit involving the cancellation of the Keystone XL pipeline, which we don't really have any movement on at the moment. And then this one here as well. Okay, the states have significant power. Like it says in the beginning there, the United States is an amalgamation of separate sovereign states. Hence, the United States. Joe Biden so far has brought nothing but division, okay? Huge, unprecedented amount of spending, which would burden states further. A huge, massive, unprecedented influx of illegal aliens across the southern border. A huge, massive, unprecedented, job-killing effort in the swift and not well thought through transition from the natural resource industry. It's different, right? Because if we look at objectively at what Trump did, what did he do that you could compare to any three pieces of those legislation? You really can't, okay? He was out there cutting taxes, putting a 5-year ban on federal lobbyists, not getting punked out by China and Russia. In fact, building bridges with North Korea. But at least Biden doesn't make mean tweets. Like, what's the defense for this? There isn't any. Unless, of course, you're trying to push socialism on the United States of America. And we got to the problem. We got to the heart of this. A lot of people, a lot of pundits have pointed out that this is socialistic type spending. They won't go as far as to say that it's an implementation of socialist ideas. Somebody who's living in a country who is leaning more and more towards socialism every day, it reeks of it because, hell, we went just about 2 years without a federal budget being tabled, and Justin Trudeau was pushing through massive spending, what seemed like on a monthly basis, without having to provide any receipts or having to balance a checkbook. He has raised the national debt multiple times over in just 2020 and proposes to do the same again in 2021. So I love the fact that at least 13 states right now are suing Joe Biden for this massive amount of spending, which doesn't really go, especially this $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package. 9% of it actually goes to being coronavirus relief. The rest of it is just a bunch of lobbyist causes because, hey, the swamp is back and it is filling up at a record rate. So they do this, they'll be able to cut the taxes for their own state. Listen, if you're got a coalition this large evoking the United States Constitution, it's got to go right up to the Supreme Court. I don't know if they have a strong case or not. I sure as fuck hope they do. And goddammit, Florida looks like more and more of a utopia as the days go on. And with that said, we got a whole bunch of other topics that I wanted to cover today. But We'll get to them tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Good Friday evening, and we'll see you again tomorrow. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.